It is a textured wall demonstration application that I'm doing today. So the company Portola Paints has this awesome textured paint called Roman clay, and it's awesome because it basically has very, very, very low VOCs, volatile organic compounds. That's what that stands for. I had picked a few colors and I just wanted to test them out. First thing that I did was this thing right here. This is a 24-inch by 24-inch drywall. I thought this was the perfect application because it's the same exact material it's going to be going on, and I wanted to test on here first rather than directly on the wall, just to see like how I want my hand to be moving and how I can work with this clay myself. So I'm going to be applying this at one of my projects for my client for their dry bar and also their fireplace. This one right here in front of me is one that I had completed yesterday. What I do is I take this drywall repair sheet and I just blue tape the edges so the gypsum doesn't, continually dust off, and border it off, and basically put down one layer of this color here of Roman clay called Sebastian. Paint pots are a little bit smaller. I use a 1-inch putty knife and I just scooped it out, and then I used for this particular texture a smaller, I believe this is a 4-inch putty knife. And the way I applied it was just one quick coat. You just get your first layer and you let it dry for 30 minutes. And this is how it turned out. So after it dries, you go through and sand it with 320 grit sandpaper, and that's pretty fine sandpaper. And then you go on and you create the, you put on the second. I realized that I should probably record this because I think it would be a good kind of like demonstration for both myself and for whoever wants to hear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blue tape off this drywall repair sheet really quick, and I'm going to use this color here, Serene. I went to my local paint shop and basically I bought a bunch of different sizes of putty knives because that's what's going to give you a different texture. This one's the largest at 10 inches. And then I have what I see a lot of the videos that are using Portola paint applied with, and that's a 6-inch putty knife right here. And so I think I'm going to do this with the 6-inch. The 10-inch is a little bit of a broad stroke, but I'll probably pick up one more drywall repair sheet. And these are only, I think they're less than $5, so they're not incredibly expensive. So it's worth it, I think, if you're a little bit timid like myself, to apply this and make sure you're applying it the way you want to. So now let me tape off this drywall repair sheet. Basically, the drywall sheet is as smooth as it can be right now, but I'm just gonna take this, open this paint pot, take the 1-inch putty knife, and start going from a corner down, and then make your way back up. So I just take some with this putty knife here. Oh, we want to do 6-inch. Alright, take the 6-inch putty knife, get comfortable, and just put it on your putty knife like this. And start in the corner, and then just start applying a very, very thin layer. And they said to hold your 2 fingers to control the amount you have. And then just go down. And then just cutting across. Swirly look. And I really swirl. Trying to keep it firm. and sand this down. This is the 320. So you just start sanding it down, and it's definitely turning into a powder on the top. It's gonna go all over. This area over here is really nice and smooth. Middle is very smooth. So yeah, keep it thin, because the thin parts are like very, very smooth and low. And this part where I put it on a little bit thicker, it's much more textured. But that's totally up to you guys. Even this right here, you still can get all this texture if you keep it thin. So don't put it on too heavy. All right, so I'm gonna clean this one up, probably take a towel to it, and then I'll get the pink one, and then we'll go in with our... Okay. All right, now I'm just gonna go back in with Sebastian, right here, using, oh, actually we're gonna pause because I forgot to wash my tools. So something I'm learning right now is push the clay. And I didn't really comprehend that the first go around, but now I'm laying it a lot more flat. I'm pressing in my fingers and I'm pushing the clay instead of trying to make this very dense artwork with it. I'm just really dancing along here, kind of quickly actually, because I don't want it to dry like last time, and I'm just continuing to make it really thin. All right, second, keeping it nice and thin, just flicking and covering it. All right, what I'm noticing is like when the clay kind of backs up and piles up on the back of this, I don't like using it. I still put a little bit more on, and I just let the more dried clay fall into the strokes. But now I know what they meant when they're like, you know, push the clay around. Now I'm kind of just doing some random patches and wiping it pretty clean. I'm piling it up in areas I see that are a little thin. So this is second coat on, and honestly, I tried to get a little inventive on that side with the tiny 1-inch strokes with the putty knife, but honestly, I think if you just stay really, really thin and just do different style motions with your arm, like turning, creating an X, creating a larger sweep, but just keeping it thin on the first layer and then adding another thin second layer, you'll be totally fine. So I'm just gonna let this dry. I'll show you guys a couple of pictures, but I wanted to just share this with you because it's the second time really that I've done this, and I just wanted to give an honest review. So I had a lot of fun with these paints. I'm not gonna lie, it's a cool, calming experience. So it's a lot less intimidating now that I've done it. So if you want to do the same thing, I highly advise it or recommend. Take care, guys.